never changed, and that is nothing but a compliment and a joy to know that you're getting the same person. And he has such heart, doesn't he? And it comes out in every one of his movies. He has this magic dust where it doesn't matter what the content is and the story arc. He always brings the human, and very American, I have to say, sentimentality with humor without being sappy. That's his forte. And he nailed it in this movie again.
And it started the very first time I had a conversation with Bob about doing a movie together. A lot of stuff had moved around, et cetera. And then the next thing I know, I'm in Century City meeting with Bob in a hotel room. And we're talking about this odd movie that, quite frankly, nobody wants us to make because they say, you can't. This movie has already been made. Why? And no one wants to see a movie called Forrest Gump because they already did Rain Man, which is the same story. And that alone was like, if you don't understand the differences between these two things, get out of the way. And Bob started pacing around. He said, I gotta walk when I do this. So he's just, I'm sitting there and he's walking around this hotel room and he's like, you see, the thing is, what we can try to do is what I'm mood about it. And we had an incredibly malleable script. What we had read was like 170 pages of this kind of like dreamscape. And I realized that at that moment, here was a kindred spirit that was talking about one thing and one thing only, the theme we are examining. And all the rest of the stuff will be served once we decide that we agree upon that that's the movie that we're going to make. Castaway took 6 years in order to talk about, and I provided the first act. Bill Broyles provided the second act. And Bob, and we had no third act until Bob came around and said, well, you know what Chuck has to go through here. And from that, then we ended up making the movie probably 2.5 years later in this way that on one hand is incredibly bold that everybody says, you're breaking every rule about how to make a movie. And Bob said, so what? I mean, that's the only way in order to get to that theme being examined the way, otherwise why are we bothering this? I mean, plot always works. You can make a story work. Characters can say any damn thing that you want to. But if you're not examining a theme that deserves to be examined by the film, you're out of there. And then, Polar Express was like we are going to examine what Christmas means in a completely different way than Peter Scolari was in Polar Express, where we worked together on Bosom Buddies 1,000 years, and Bob loved this thing. We drop that kid off at his house, and he picks up a box and shakes it, and he says, "It's what I've always wanted." He doesn't even know what's in the box, And Bob said, "Isn't that great? You just got to see. That's what Christmas is all about." But you ended up doing more of a sword and sorcery kind of thing.
Oh yeah, that was a bunch of miming. Did you have to mime most of your stuff for Polar?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, pretend that you had a cape. You had no cape. Yeah, everything was. It was play acting.
You had the volume that you had to.
We had the volume. Anthony Hopkins was in one of them, and it was me, Anthony, and Malkovich standing there in our wetsuits with dots all over us, waiting for cameras to get ready. And Anthony's like, "Isn't it funny, Robin?" And I was like, "I'm sorry, what's funny?" He goes, "We do this for a living." And I'm like, "It's true. We're in a wetsuit, all of us. And we're going to go act like we're kings and queens on thrones." And you know what? We have a blast doing it. And when you work with people that, yes, it's ease. We've decided on this word. It's just ease. To have been together 30 years ago, made that movie, had kids in the meantime.
Yeah,
life, frick. Get back together, and it's like no time has passed.
And then Christmas Carol was right after that.
Oh, that's right, with Jim Carrey. Wow, what a talent, that guy. Amazing. He does not understand that he's perfect.
Oh,
you know what I mean?
Go, yeah.
And he's like, "No, I need 87 more." And you're like, "Dude, you got it on take 2." Like.
He drives fast.
Yes, he drives very, very fast.
Yeah. Was that mocap as well?
That was mocap as well.
All right.
Yeah, that's right. Christmas Carol.
Then
And you did.
Then we did then we did Pinocchio, which was great. And I said, Bob, what are you doing? We're gonna try to do Pinocchio for Disney. And I said, you got a Geppetto? And he said, you want to do a Geppetto? I said, Bob, I would walk through hell in a gasoline suit to be in a thing with it. And here's what I'm thinking about doing with Geppetto. And, he said, oh, that's great. That wasn't a very long movie, but it was when we were doing that, that we were talking about this way in order to shoot a film with kind of like a tableau cinematic, not a device, but a tableau setting kind of thing. And he said, it's funny you should ask that question, because he had already read the graphic novel for Here and was intrigued by that. And I only read the graphic novel. It took me like 4 times in order to figure out what it was. But from that, it began this conversation about what? About theme. It's called Here, H-E-R-E, not H-E-A-R. It's about what goes on an individual moment in somebody's lives. So this is number 4 for you.
It's number 4.
Yeah, number 5 for me. So get with it.
Right.